Hey, what's happening, everyone? I'm SirJames coming at you guys with another video, and I hope you guys are doing well. Today, I'm here to finally give you guys my review of a brand new Legacy lightsaber that was released at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge last week. This one happens to be Rey's Legacy Saber, and I know what you guys are thinking, what took me so long? Well, because anytime there's a new product that comes out, I'm not going to the parks 24/7. In fact, my next trip technically isn't until June 6th, so in the meantime, I had to rely on the use of a smuggler, and that smuggler is by the name Eddie, who helped me acquire this hilt and to ship them to me. So thanks to Eddie, I'm able to get this out to you guys as soon as possible rather than having to wait until my next trip. So once again, thank you, Eddie, for your help, and hopefully in the future I may use your service once again. So here we go, let's get started. So Rey's Legacy Saber retails for the price tag of $140, so it's definitely in the budget with some of the other Legacy Sabers in that price range. One of the things that you may notice is that it actually comes in the much larger crate instead of the smaller ones, and there is the symbol marked there on the very front. For me personally, I actually like the larger crates more than the smaller ones, just because I feel like the hinge mechanism is a lot more smoothly compared to the smaller ones, and also too, the crates make for great customization. It's something you don't necessarily have to do, but I've seen a lot of creative people in the community who basically do custom paint jobs depending on what saber is in the case. Like for example, Kylo Ren, a lot of people did the design with like the cracked helmet and masks and the red lighting and stuff. So there's all kinds of creativity that you can do with just the packaging alone before you even get to the hilt, if you so desire. Or you can just leave it as is and put it on the shelf. It's completely fine, but just to kind of give you guys some tips and ideas if you want to get a little bit creative with it, definitely check out the community and see how people customize their box and just basically have fun with it. So of course, opening it up, we are presented with the hilt right there in the box, all ready to go. Let's go ahead and remove it out here. And we're going to go ahead, and since we no longer need the box, since there's nothing else inside, put it up here. Now going over the price point once again is Rey's Legacy Saber retails for the price tag of $140, and no, the blade is not included as the blade does not fit into its retail packaging. However, the dark saber actually does include a blade, and you'll see why when we get to that review. Now first thing that I noticed while taking the hilt out of the box is that this actually has a lot of heftiness to it. In fact, I was under the impression that this might be even heavier than my Savi's Workshop Protection and Defense lightsaber that I built at Galaxy's Edge, so I took it to the test. Using my scale, I found out that my Savi's Workshop lightsaber, knowing that it already weighs over 2 pounds, is actually 2 pounds 0.8 ounces. Rey's Legacy Saber here actually weighs in, just the hilt, no additional things added to it, weighs in at a total of 2 pounds 8.3 ounces, so definitely has some heftiness to it for sure. The other thing that I noticed is that upon first impressions is that Disney actually did a decent job with this hilt. In fact, I feel like they put a little bit more time and effort with this hilt versus Leia's and of course the Darksaber, in my personal opinion. And I was definitely impressed with it. In fact, with the negatives that I will say in this review, this one is actually going onto my list of one of my personal favorite Legacy lightsabers that Disney has released, especially for the price point, how it looks, the heftiness, minus the 2 flaws. It's actually not bad of a product, so I'm quite pleased with it, but we're going to go ahead and get to that here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and start off by taking a closer look at the hilt. So here it is at a distance, which is very nice. Now you may recall that I had a third-party one, which is the LGT Scavenger. However, that one was of course not an accurate one, but there's some things that I had on there that were more cracked versus the Disney one, but we'll touch upon that in just a moment. So here's the top section here, starting off at the emitter. In fact, you also have the teeth here, if you're wondering about that, and these actually do open and close. You do have to open these up manually, unfortunately, but if you're wondering where's the teeth, well, there they are. And of course, you can close these back up if you're just going to simply display it. This one also has pre-applied weather effects on here, which will make for a nice template. So if you actually wanted to go back and add your own weathering elements to it, you can kind of go over what Disney has already applied here and to further enhance how it looks, which is something that I could see myself doing in the near future. A couple of drawbacks really quick while we're here is that unfortunately on the emitter side, there's actually no light source in here whatsoever. In fact, it's completely blocked off. If you recall in the movie, Rey toggled the switch here, which of course enabled a few bits of lighting right here to ignite. And then of course we have the main blade itself. Unfortunately on the Legacy Saber, there is no light source whatsoever in this section, which is a bit disappointing. The other thing that's also a bit disappointing is the switch here. This actually does not move at all. That is right, what you would expect to be the activation is not the activation. So how do you actually turn it on? Well, unfortunately, the only way to turn it on is actually using a switch that is built right here into the handle. Now, they did actually turn it around, so instead of going in an up and down direction, it is going from a left and right to kind of replicate that in the movie, but it is a bit unfortunate that this is not the activation, so I was kind of displeased with that announcement. I was looking to see how deep the blade actually sits in, and it looks like the actual depthness goes all the way down here. But if you were to think about it, if Disney were to incorporate this as the on and off switch, personally, I feel like they could have oversized it and there could have been some other alterations to the look here, or it'd probably be a lot more negatives than positives. So if anything, I do have to give Disney props for at least keeping it more accurate to its size, because it does feel great in the hands. You know, it doesn't feel overly large, it doesn't feel overly small. It feels like as it should be in the movie. So again, I have to give them props, minus the negatives with the switch. And of course, finishing down here on the bottom here, we have, of course, our clip for the belt, which is going to be right here. You'll notice that Rey actually does not use a D-ring or cover tack, but I actually have some little safety concerns involving this, which we'll get to in just a moment. And if you need access to your battery, you just got to unscrew this bottom section here, and this will use a total of 3 AAA batteries, so nothing to it. Now the next thing that I want to go ahead and talk about is the actual clip itself, because some people do have concerns with this. Is there a better solution to carry this around without it falling? How is this going to clip onto the belt? Is it secure enough? Well, here's what I did during my initial testing. Using the belt that you can buy from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge as the initial benchmark, I did simply do the obviously proper thing first, is taking this and putting it onto the belt. And one of the things that I noticed is that this actually doesn't slide in all the way because of the thickness of the belt. Whether it's the top section or the strap in the center, this will not slide in all the way, which means that there's definitely going to be some safety concerns with this potentially falling off your belt, such as if you're leaning forward to go and picking up an item, simply doing a light jog, or maybe getting caught onto a bag, simple things like that, or heck, maybe even off the off chance someone coming by and swinging it off your side without you ever noticing it whatsoever. I know that is not really a common thing that you see with the Legacy Sabers, but you never know in today's age. So there is a simple solution that you can use to ensure that your hilt is going to be not only secured on you, but you wouldn't have to worry about it falling off whatsoever. First off is this product that I'm going to recommend that's on Amazon. It's basically the perfect accessory to have for any lightsaber that is using a D-ring system. And of course, since there's also a key ring on there, that's crucial for what we're going to be using for Rey's hilts. So let me go ahead and give you guys a closer look once again. If you notice on the clip, there's kind of a little lip section here at the very top of the ring here. And there's also a little hole here on the top. Using a simple product such as a key ring here, and the combination of the item that I recommend, which a link to the product is in the description down below, this is going to provide the best way to carry your hilt without worrying if it falling off or anything like that, or any other safety concerns. Of course, you got to be careful with what kind of key rings that you use, because if it's a real thick one, you may struggle trying to get it on. But if you're using like a thin one like this, then you should simply enough be able to kind of slide this in here. And just like that, kind of loop it in place like so, and then you can go ahead and take this and put this onto the product that I recommended and attach that to your belt. And this is the best solution that I could think of to carry your hilt around and not have to worry about it dropping or anything like that. In fact, I should play a little clip for you guys of me literally jogging in place. That's how trustworthy I have in this product, and it's something that I've been using for well over a year now with any of my lightsabers, including my custom ones that I spent really good money on to ensure the safety of those hilts. And I'm definitely recommending that product once again for this hilt for sure. Alright, so now that we had the opportunity to go over the pricing, to take a closer look in terms of its details, and of course go over a nice, safer way to carry your hilt for your next adventure, it's now time to go ahead and insert the blade. I know a lot of you guys tend to get impatient in regards to you just want to see it turn on, but I mean, this is after all a review, so that's what I have to do, is go over from start to finish. So first off, if you need to insert your blade, once again, the teeth on the top here, you do have to manually open up yourself, which is very simple to do. Just reach in with your finger and pull upwards. It's not that difficult and takes, well, no effort whatsoever. Typically, legacy lightsabers usually have a little black cap on the inside that you have to remove first before inserting your blade. However, I did notice that with this release, there was actually no little black cap whatsoever, and it's probably because of the teeth that's already applied here, since you have to remove that anyways in order to insert the blade. So just something I thought I'd point out. I mean, it's not really a big deal. It kind of serves as a kind of, I guess, a little dust cover, if you will. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and bring in a Galaxy's Edge blade. As always, it fits in one way, like so. Push in and then twist in order to lock it in place. And then now it's ready to go. So let me go ahead and turn off this main light here. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the activation sound. Once again, in order to turn this on, you do have to use the toggle switch on the handle. This ring does not function in any way, shape, or form, nor does it turn the saber on. So once again, going over the activation. And I'm going to do this at least 2 more times. So in terms of the activation sound, it actually sounds great. Now again, to go ahead and kind of point that out, which is adds to my negative here, is again, there is no light source at all on this emitter section. The only light source that you have is from the blade itself. So let's go ahead and activate once again. As you can see, zero lighting at all. Only on the top, not here. Which again, that's very unfortunate. I would have loved at least have some kind of lighting here initially. As to why that couldn't happen, maybe the blade isn't sitting low enough to allow that to happen. Whatever the case may be, it would have been nice, even if they didn't use the activation switch as it should be, to at least have lighting there, because that kind of gives it a nice cool effect in my personal opinion. So once again, activating. The electronics, of course, are going to be, for the most part, the same as far as motion captures and whatnot. In terms of how does it feel in the hand while swinging, again, you can feel the weight definitely there for sure. Maybe after a while it might start to cramp up your wrist a little bit. But again, it feels nice in the hand while, you know, spinning the blade around. I don't really have any issues with that. And deactivate. So as far as how does it feel in the hand while swinging, it feels great. Again, I feel like the size of the hilt is great. It's not too bulky. It's not super thin. I feel like it's quite accurate for how it should be. And definitely impressed with how that is. So let's go ahead and turn on the lights here. So as far as the hilt goes, which of course, in order to remove the blade, push in, twist, and then remove. Simple as that. And once your blade is out, oops, you can go ahead and safely close the teeth on the top here. So overall, what do I honestly think of this? Well, as I mentioned towards the beginning, this one here is definitely going to be added to my personal favorites as far as the Legacy Blade lineup goes, which is not too many on my list. The only real negatives that I have is the fact that the on and off switch is, well, the little switch here, and also the ring doesn't do anything, which is a bit disappointing, to be quite honest. And the other negative that I have is the fact that there's no lighting here on the emitter where the windows should be. Again, if the blade maybe sit a little bit lower, but again, I feel like this really comes to the initial design. If Disney were to have done things differently, this could have turned out completely different. This could have been a lot thicker, could have been a lot chunkier, and it could have been a lot more issues being wrong with it. But I'm glad Disney didn't go that route. That's where I'm trying to get at. But even regardless of some of its flaws, if you're just looking for a nice Lightsaber to display, maybe to carry with you next time to Galaxy's Edge, and something to add to your collection, then I feel personally like collectors are probably really going to enjoy this hilt. Just keep in mind that if you don't like the little switch here, if you're going to have it on display, just make it to where this little switch is hidden underneath, so that way you got the better side facing up, instead of that being a little bit more noticeable, is really the only thing But again, overall, I think this is a great Legacy Saber to add to one's collection if this is a hilt that you are been looking forward to getting. And I think you guys are probably going to enjoy this 100% for sure. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. And as I mentioned, in my next review, we're going to be taking a look at the Legacy Darksaber. And yes, there is an official Legacy Darksaber out. And that one, well, let's just say that my opinions on that one are definitely going to be a lot different compared to what we had here. Until then, always remember, may the Force be with you.